Am I going to be homeless? Am I going to have 2 mortgages? We get these questions all the time. How can I sell my house and buy another home without having to live on the streets, live with family, be at a hotel? And then also, I don't want to buy another house and have 2 mortgages because, hey, the prices are up there, right? Interest rates are up there. So I only want to pay for one. I want to upgrade. I want to go on to the next one. This is what it looks like. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to go over some important information about selling your home and purchasing the next home. We get this question all the time. Hey, can I do that? How does it look? So we're going to break it all down for you. Right? So the biggest thing is people ask is, how am I protected? How can you guarantee me that my family won't be out on the street without a home because we couldn't find the next home, or we couldn't sell our home, so now we have 2 mortgages, right? So let's go over a couple ways that you can protect yourself. And one of the biggest things is contingencies. So we have a couple of contingencies that are in place to protect you from being homeless, right? So one of it is the sale of your current home is contingent on you finding your replacement property. So what does this mean? Right? So basically, if you don't find that next home and you can't close on it, you don't sell your current home. So there's great benefits, right? You are secure. You are gonna, be in a home no matter what. But hey, the downside to this is that some buyers are not willing to take on that risk of you finding the next home. So the pool of buyers are probably shrunk a little bit, not too much. With this market, not as many buyers out there. Can be something that kind of discourages buyers from either looking at your home, going out, or putting in an offer. So that can be the case, right? We've seen it before. A lot of people, they say, hey, am I gonna see less buyers? Probably, but all it takes is that right buyer. Right. So now on the other side of purchasing the home, people ask, hey, am I going to have 2 mortgages? So there's another contingency in place that says if your house doesn't sell, then you're not purchasing the next home, right? So it's contingent on your current property selling, right? Now, all these contingencies, they usually don't go all the way to the end. So you're going to get to a certain point where you are going to have to remove that contingency. But at that point, your house is selling, and that house that you're gonna buy, so you're gonna be in a good spot, right? Because the buyers are gonna be releasing their contingency for your property, and if whatever deposit's there, it can probably cover the deposit you put onto the next home. So at some point they will want to see that removed, but by then you should know you're getting into the home. We do it all the time. This is actually something we do a lot more often. We get a lot of families who are coming from the LA County area to the Inland Empire. And we're getting those families who are upgrading, right? We just helped a family out in Ontario. They went from like Ontario Ranch to Eastville. So they didn't go too far, but they needed more space. They had surprise twins. So it's something like, hey, honey, I need more room. I know you're working, but I need more space. We got 4 kids now. Make it happen. So we were able to help them sell the house, use that money to get into the next one. And the contingencies were there. They were protected. They weren't homeless at any time. They didn't have to live in a motel at any time. The transition always gets a little crazy, but it was pretty smooth for the most part. So what happens if we run into issues with the next property, right? Let's say we're going to the next property. We found the property. We identified it. We're opening escrow. We're selling our house. It's all fine and dandy, and then we run into some issues with the home you're buying, right? So typically we do help a lot of people with new build homes, but let's say you're buying a resale home and the inspection, it just comes out disgusting. It's ugly. The home needs a lot of work. We can't come to terms. What happens next, right? You already told these people they're going to buy the house. Well, you have a couple options. You can cancel that. If we can't figure out, we can't negotiate on, it's just too bad. We want to move on from that property. What we have to do is go back to our buyers, right? The people who are buying the home you currently have, and say, hey guys, we did fall out. We're going to need a little bit more time. At that point, they can cancel, right? At that point, if we're past our our escrow days, or we're going to go past the escrow days, and we know that, they could cancel, but we can negotiate something. Hey, can we do a longer escrow? Can we extend it to be able to find another home to get into? The contingency is still in place as long as, we didn't release it because, we haven't done inspection and all that, but you're still going to be protected, that's going to be the biggest thing, is you're going to be fine. Now, there's families who don't want to go the contingency route because they're thinking, hey, I'm going to have less buyers, right? So what happens then? You do have some options, right? You can do a lease back option, right? They call it a rent back, lease back, same thing. And with this option, what you can do is you can tell, hey, Mr. Buyer, you're going to be buying my house. It's not contingent on me finding a replacement home, right? So this option's a little riskier. You're going to want to make sure you're really aggressive with finding the home, but you're going to say, hey, give me 30 days after the close of escrow to stay in the home, to be able to find my next home. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? 90 days is a little bit far out. Most people won't be doing that long if they really want to get into the home. But 30, 60 days, a little bit more normal, right? Most people go with 30. And what does that look like, right? Am I staying there for free? Am I paying? So typically in the past, you're paying basically market value of what rents are going for in the area. But since prices have gone up, interest rates have gone up, most likely they're going to be charging you what their principal and interest are at minimum, right? So maybe it doesn't sound like, hey, that could be a lot because you're probably used to paying $2,500 dollars for your payment. But now with the new buyers, they're most likely going to have a higher payment. So let's say you're there for 60 days. What you'll do is you'll say, hey, I'm going to be here for 60 days. You're going to leave some type of deposit and plus the rate for those 2 months in escrow. And as they go on, that money, like let's say you get out in 30 days, then they'll charge you for those 30 days through escrow. It gets paid. They basically just hold the funds there, so you're not paying out of pocket. The funds are there already. They'll pay them, and then whatever's left over, you'll get after the fact. They'll cut you a check for that or wire the money. So that option is there. Now, this option's a little bit more risky, right? What happens if I don't find the home? You got to be out, right? Obviously, it's a risk for the buyers too, because now they become more of a landlord. So some buyers don't want to do that because they're like, hey, what if this person, we seen what happened with COVID. What if this person just never leaves? What if they sell me the house, they say they're going to leave, and then they don't leave, and now I got to evict them? So that is something that can happen. But for the most part, from what we experience, most people get out, but you do have to find the home in that time, right? So it can be a little stressful. It can get to you a little bit, but with the right team, you're going to be able to do it. You'll be fine as long as you're realistic about what your next home looks like, the payment and the interest rate and all that. If you're good on all that, great. Hey, we're going to find you the home. Now, another option that people are doing, hey, I want to find a home comfortably. We're going to rent somewhere for, do a short-term rental because they're cashing out the money, right? Airbnb, or they go live with family. So you definitely have options when you're looking to sell your home and buy the next home. So I want to give you guys an example of what it actually looks like to close a home concurrently, right? So what does concurrently mean? At the same time, right? It's just a fancy word for saying, hey, we're going to sell this home, buy the next home, and what does that look like? So let's say they are lining up together. Everything's just perfect. We've been dealing a lot with that lately. It gets exciting at the end always, but this is what it looks like basically. So let's say we have a 30-day escrow for the sale of your home, and then also let's say a 27-day escrow for the next home. We want them to close one day or after the other. So an example, right? Let's say you're in the San Bernardino County. It's going to work great because they can fund and record same day. But let's use the Ontario home for example, right? That home closed on a Monday, right? So funded and recorded on the Monday, and then they were able to close on the next home. It actually went on to Thursday. But what we did to protect our sellers is we asked for 5 days after the close of escrow. So there was no cost to the sellers. You just say, hey, we need 5 days to move out. The buyers were good with it, and they were able to close on the next home, move out, and just in time. So if you are looking to sell your home, you don't want to be left without any days after the close of escrow. Minimum 3 days, but I would shoot for 5 days to be able to get out. It's just gonna be the best way, because you can move out, not have to feel rushed, all that good stuff, guys. So that's really what it looks like, right? It closes, the money goes from one escrow to the other escrow. That one funds with you know, if you're using a loan or if it's all cash, it's gonna fund. Then it closes the same day. And as long as that person's not having to get out to buy another home, then you should be in a pretty good spot, because we've actually dealt with that recently, and it's just like a multi-level of people trying to get out, selling, get out, selling, get out. It can get a little bit crazy, but for the most part, you're gonna be in a pretty good spot. So, guys, it's definitely possible. It's not out of the question. The biggest questions that people are running into when I'm selling my home and buying the next one is, hey, my payment's most likely going to go up because of the interest rate. You probably have a lower interest rate now as a homeowner. If you refinance 2 years ago or so, you're going to have a really good interest rate. So that's just knowing that your payment's probably going to be higher unless you're coming with a huge down payment or you're buying cash, right? Like we had one recently, they sold 2 houses to buy one in Menifee, and they bought it cash, so they don't have to worry about the interest rate. But that's going to be the biggest thing, is being realistic about payment, being realistic about what it all looks like, and we do it often. So if you're looking to sell your home and get into the next home, our team can help you and will help you make it as smooth as possible. So guys, I hope that you got some good information just to kind of sum it all up. Yes, you can sell your home, buy the next one. You have contingencies to protect you. You can do a lease back. You can do a lease back option, rent back option, whatever you want to call it. The option is there. Or you can say, hey, all I need is 5 days. I'm gonna get out no matter what. If I got to go to a motel for a little bit. Most likely is not the case. We haven't had to do that just yet. We had a couple of scares, but it's all good. It's all good. So guys, if you guys got some good information, or you know somebody that's wanting to do this move, share this channel with them, share this video with them. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We're looking to bring some heat every single week to you, so you guys know what to do when you're either selling or buying a home. SoCal Daniel out.